two, one. All right, hey everybody, how y'all doing? This is Markle and Sigler. I am here for the start of something new. I don't know what we're gonna call it yet. I thought about today. The title, our first title I came up with was called Stolen Collection. Everybody in this room know what I mean by that. Stolen Collection.
Right.
But then I was kind of like my comic book bros or comic book brothers, so I don't know, man. We got to kind of figure that out later on. So I may let y'all all get a chance of what y'all want to call this. But we just here, man. We four friends, man. Shoot, going back almost 20 years now. Ain't it? That's a long time.
I said we more than that, I think, man.
More than that. Yeah, me and David more than that. But I mean, it's four of us together, about 20 years.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off. So Kevin, I'm moving to you. Introduce yourself and tell the folks watching this what you want to know about you.
Okay. My name is Kevin Patrick, Senior. I like to put that in since
Senior,
I have a junior.
Right.
I'm Big Kev. That's what I say now. That's my. That's why I make them call me at work, so I sound important. But I'm an artist. I'm a former professor. I may get back to it, but you get in where you fit in. Right now, just a wage slave, trying to get back to my art, and trying to stay in the comic game, man. I'm not buying comics like I used to, so I spend a lot of time reading my old stuff. You know what I mean? Just retraveling and every once in a while looking at stuff through YouTube to stay caught up. I consider myself a comic artist. Big fan of some of the artists that have left us. George Perez, the King, is one of the guys that got me into the love of comics. And John Byrne, I always have to say the cats that put me in the game. Big supporter of the Milestone Posse. Saw the birth of Milestone, and as long as they go, have nothing but respect and love. And big movie fan, big book fan. That's me.
That's you, man. That's beautiful, man. Kevin's a professor, and I like the perspective you bring. He said you go back and read your old books, but you watch a lot of new books on YouTube. That's interesting. We can talk about that. So next, I'm gonna shoot with the MC in the corner. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
That's what's up, man. Welcome to MC. Marcus Connor, man, lifelong comic fan. Been reading him since I was 5. Got introduced to him by my cousin out of Memphis. A big fan of story and writing, so I'm big on those things. Railroader, perennial agent of chaos, much to my misfortune and the misfortune of others at times, and sometimes they benefit. It depends on where the dice roll. 50 years doing it. So that means I've been reading comics since I was 5. So I got 45 years in really doing it. Man, I don't know, man. I just that's me. I love this stuff. I've been hanging with it too long. Yeah, I can pass it on to the next.
I like that. 45 years of reading comics. That's a long time, man. I mean, I knew it, but to hear you say it, I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, you've seen a lot of stories, man. All right.
All y'all young buds, don't try to take the old man out now.
Right. No, I ain't trying to take your place on me. You got it, OG.
And last but not least, the brother wearing the Spellman shirt. I'm like, okay. But
first of all, it says Spellman brother. Thank you.
Okay, we just see Spellman, but all right.
Okay, we're gonna fix this because we're not gonna be over here like, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know if you can see the part where it say brother, but it say brother right there.
All right, well, introduce yourself, Spellman brother.
All right. So I'm Damon, kind of like Daredevil. I'm a lawyer, criminal law, and deal with obviously criminal issues. And you catching me over here at the at an alumni event with Morehouse and Spellman together. And so we were just having an intake thing, sending off the young brothers and sisters that are about to start school. So as alumni, we want to make sure everybody's having a good time. So I came up here representing Spelman, and Morehouse, get that in there, So I'm a Morehouse graduate, class 2001. Now, the relevant part, been reading comic books since the sixth grade. So I was probably about 11 years old. So I take it back to Uncanny X-Men 271 Extinction Agenda Part 4. And that was my first time seeing this cat named Wolverine. And other than that, take it back just a tad further with a Detective Comics book and some Batman books, where Batman was drawn by the late great Norm Brayfogle, and I got into comic books because of this guy named Michael Keaton back in 1989 when he played Batman, and so that was my guy from that point forward, and so X-Men, Batman, I get into other things as well. Your boy got, pretty big Black Panther collection. And so, yeah, now at this point, I focus more on the collection, even though I read stuff and I catch up on things on YouTube, but I'm more of the collector now. And I was a big reader when I was younger.
That's good, man. So, my path is similar to Damon. So, and Marcus, I started when I was like 5 years old. I remember my first comic book was an issue of New Mutants. I don't remember what it was about. I know what the Brood were in it. I remember that much. It just scared the hell out of me. I remember that. But I probably really committed to reading comics on Uncanny X-Men 227. The Chris Claremont, Mark Silvestri, the end of the Fall of the Mutants, when they fought the adversary. And just like Damon said, Wolverine was my dude. But it expanded way past that very quickly. But that's the moment I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to collect comic books. And I guess I'm the person that still regularly buys and reads. I probably go to my local comic store every week. I got a budget. People don't believe it, but I actually have a budget. I go past that budget almost every week.
Well, you and I are the same with that, Marco. I still go to the store. Yep. You and I both still go to the store.
Yep. So we go to the store, and I probably, but now I buy more independent stuff. Probably because I've been influenced more by Kevin and Marcus. They got me reading more independent stuff. I'll never forget that time. Marcus, you probably the one got me read the Sandman. I think I told Kevin that. He said, "Aren't you sophisticated now?" He said, so I do read. I mean, I looked at my pool this week. I had more independents, and independent. I mean, Image, Boom, Vault, IDW. AWA, I pretty much read everything, Also, this is my second time kind of doing a show. I was on not Black Comic Blues. I was on House of Nerd. If anybody from House of Nerd watching, forgive me. But the reason I'm doing Black Comic Lords is I'm also on Black Comic Lords. I hadn't had a chance to do the show because unfortunately when they do live shows, I'm always working. But I have written some published articles for them, and I need to write a new one.
I like Black Comic Lords.
I'm gonna write it on too. I know exactly what book I want to write it on, and I'm gonna start it off with this right here.
We got some feedback on the loop, man. I don't know.
I think it's Kevin. Kevin, you might need to mute your phone when you're not talking. Let's see if that works.
Say what? Mute it?
Yeah, see if you mute yours when you're not talking.
Oh Lord! Now you're gonna give me problems trying to do this mess.
That's all right.
It's that. Nope, it's still there. It might be mine. Hold on.
Hello? So I don't hear it now. Do you hear it?
No, I stopped hearing it.
So I think it was Kevin. So that's cool. I figured that out quickly. So that's good. So what I want to talk about first is, and Marcus, I think you and I kind of briefly talked about this, Amanda Waller, because John Ridley is writing Absolute Power Origins, and it's about Amanda Waller, and I picked that up. So I don't know about the rest of y'all, but this is how I kind of came up, man. If I saw a black comic book, somebody black on the cover, I was gonna buy it. If I saw somebody black was writing it, I was gonna buy it, and I knew the artist was black, I was gonna buy it. So I saw a black person on the cover, Amanda Waller, and I saw John Ray was writing it. I knew I was gonna buy it. So Marcus, have you read that yet?
Yeah, I did. So we talked about that earlier. It's a complete reimagining of her origin, but we admit that her origin in Suicide Squad in the 80s was very problematic. First, let me say this. I like Amanda Waller as a character. Like, I like her as I think I like her more as a quasi villain than an outright villain. I don't think she should be a big bad because she does work for the government and she is, in the end of things, trying to like make things better. She just has a hardcore way of doing it. So I respect that. But like her origin in Suicide Squad was like, man, she had 6 kids and they were in the Cabrini Green projects in Chicago and they all died and no one could do anything for it. You know, not the politicians, not the cops or whatever like that. This origin isn't far off that beaten path, except they make her like she had a husband. They didn't have 6 children, they had 4. 2 died, and no one could do anything for her. And then she got active in politics. So it was that. But before it was like she was just an uneducated black woman. And an uneducated welfare queen with 6 kids who somehow rose through the ranks of power to get, to be head of all these intelligence agencies. So, but that was John Ostrander, and I'm not gonna say nothing ill about him. The Suicide Squad was, the shit. But I think really kind of wants to kind of even it out, the rough edges. But that's that. In the end, I'm not interested in her origin, really, man, because it's not her origin that gets me, man. It's the shit she's doing now, and why she's doing it now. And I don't think it has much to do with her origin. I think at its heart, she's a control freak. She is a good device. Like I'll never forget in that Batman, was it Batman or was it Justice League, man?
It was Justice League. It was Justice League Unlimited when he came and confronted her when she's getting out the shower, and she's like,
and if I were you, I wouldn't push the issue, Rich Boy. When she told Bruce Wayne that shit. Like, I know who you are. Back the fuck up out of here before, you get more, than you came for. So that's her. So it's a story. I think it's a bit of a reach using her for that because it's going to have like far-reaching repercussions. And the Amazo technology alone, because it's like, first of all, I'm like, what happened to the original Amazo? Secondly, is like, I don't get how the Amazo robots are stealing like magical powers from magical beings. It's like technology and magic shouldn't work like that, but it's comic books. We're all talking about fantasy, so nothing is beyond the pale of reality. So anything can happen. It just ain't making sense. So that's all I got on it. But the origin story, man, at its heart, it was like, okay, I get it. It reinvents her as a manipulative person from the jump, though. Like, it's not, you don't see her being slowly corrupted at all. Like when she's dealing with the Chicago politicians, my hometown where I'm from, I get it, man. It's corruption in Chicago. Been that way since forever. He's like, oh, dude, you think I just showed up at your door? No, it's like this. I know you've been taking payments. You took payments from the dope dealer that killed and raped my daughter. So here's what we gonna do. So it just makes her like a little bit more jaded from the jump. And I think that's the purpose of the whole book, actually. That scene right there was the purpose of the whole book, to make sure that, to let the audience know that Amanda Waller was always on it, That's my take.
All right, so Kev, I see I had to mute you because of the background. I was going to unmute you now. So I see you want to say something. So I'm going to let you go ahead and say something, and then we're going to kick it to Damon.
I'm fascinated by Waller because I've watched her evolution when she was the Wall, and she was this big black powerful woman, and as she became a television character, right? She became more attractive, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
a good actor is playing her, so that made her
Mhm.
profound and very effective. So, I think that's a helpful thing as comics come to television. Some of these characters, it's obvious who created them, and that parts of them are caricatures in their inception. You know what I mean? Because that's how I felt about Waller at one time, and I wasn't a big Suicide Squad follower until I said, "Well, I got to get these books because it was interesting." So I started liking Waller, and then I saw her more as a TV character, right, or part of the films Suicide Squad. So I like her evolution in that way. Um, but she's a hell of a character. But her history, you don't, they like you mentioning that she was I guess we would say welfare queen or whatever, or her history coming out of welfare or whatever they were dealing with, had certain implications. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, the ignorance of the writers and the simplicity of what they were pushing about how complicated the character has become and could be as a black woman.
Exactly.
That's all I just think about. That's why I just shake my hand with Waller, because it's interesting how comic characters evolve as we put them into popular media, and it's not just us, quote unquote, looking at these characters. Other people judge them and have conversations and ideologies about them. It's interesting to me. This whole age of comics and television and media really fascinates me because these characters are so different from the when I was a child. And you got me talking, but of course we're talking. But the whole New Teen Titans, the book that made what I love, that it was a TV show. Um, I enjoyed the success of it and the simplicity of it. I guess I don't know if that's the right word. And I like Donna Troy. The lady that played Wonder Girl was perfect. So
Okay.
I enjoyed that. Because I was scared. I was scared it was gonna be bad because I wasn't too crazy about the New Mutants uh,
Yeah.
horror horror movie.
You know what? It was a good premise, but like bad execution. And
Yeah,
like what I want to say, just to like piggyback on your point with Amanda Waller, it's like when you have, and like I said, like no, I'm not gonna say like I'm not disrespecting Ostrander for what he did, but it's like maybe a little more research. Like Christopher Priest said it best. He was like, white writers write black people, and when they try to write from the black perspective, they're written from their limited perspective.
Mm.
So it's like that's what. So you know, what's the heavyset black woman in Chicago gonna be other than a welfare queen to him? You
Mm.
know, so it's
Yeah.
like out of the myriad of possibilities that exist, that's what he chose. And maybe he thought it was a harder angle or something like that. It wasn't. Amanda Waller could have been some Southside Jack and Jill queen whose kids went to the best school.
But that would require
Still,
actually knowing what Jack and Jill is.
you said what?
Ooh.
That
Ooh.
would require knowing what Jack and Jill is. To your point, it's a limited perspective. I'm agreeing with you. He can't write a thing that he doesn't know anything about.
Well, yeah, we're saying the same thing,
Yeah,
and
I agree with you.
and that's why I said like a little research is required. And it's
Yeah,
just like, man, but someone would have knew. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit up and say that no white person knows what Jack and Jill is because shit, they're probably the black person they're sitting next to probably has children in Jack and Jill. If we're being honest, you know, just like
yeah, I
they're
wouldn't bet on
claiming,
it though.
just like
I would.
just like they're claiming ignorance of divine nine sororities and fraternities. Like they what's
Exactly.
that? They're doing that. Like what's this? And it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
You know.
Eh,
Well, my thing
stop
is,
acting up.
I think kind of to your point. I've been trying to do my best to collect um black characters, like Black Panther, like Storm, and when I look at Black Lightning, Misty Knight, all of them were created by white people. and it's very few black characters who were created by black people and those characters cannot be informed with a perspective they don't know. I mean, that's just generally. For example, if I like writing my little stories here and there, and if I tried to write a story, I'm a lawyer. If I tried to write a nuclear physicist, what could I really say that a nuclear physicist knows when I've never studied nuclear physics?
Yeah, but you can do research.
I can do research.
People
Now,
write
how many
things
white people
outside
do
of
you
their
know will
experience.
actually take the time to learn black people like
But that's what
thoroughly?
good writers do. They
That is
actually
what good
take the
writers
time
do.
they take the time to research the subject that they're writing about. That's what good writers do. And
That
there's good
is.
writers out there that do it all the time.
So example, right? Me say this. Like I just had this conversation with somebody, probably in Black Comic Lords on Facebook, and they were talking about Al Ewing. And I think I said Al Ewing of the white writers I see right now. It says why does he always get the black characters? That's because he writes the black characters well. I mean, I can tell. First, he wrote a scene in Mighty Avengers. When he's writing Mighty Avengers, basically the all black Avengers team, basically at that point, and where this little girl talks to Photon, Monica Rambeau, about her hair and stuff like that. And I was like, how the hell did he know this? This is a very specific thing that me being a black man growing up around black women, I knew. But I was like, how the hell did he know this? I had to look him up to make sure he was not. I was like, is he black? I was like, is he Eve Ewing's husband? Because I know Eve Ewing is black.
Well, maybe he's not pretending that he exists within a vacuum and has a few black friends or talks to black people. Like, it's not that goddamn hard.
True.
You know, that's my point.
I agree that it's not hard, but how often do people even make that one step? You see what I'm saying? I'm kind of saying if it's like a chessboard, it's not hard to move a pawn one space. But a lot of people don't even have that level of interest just to make that first move. And I'm straining. I know I'm straining the metaphor here, but that's what it seems like to me when I see a lot of things coming, from white people oftentimes. And this includes a friend of mine who engaged with me. Markland, you may have seen it. Marcus, any one of you may have seen it. But there's a white guy I know. We've been friends, but he decided to jump onto my page and engage a certain issue. And I don't think he realized how black people feel about a certain thing. And it was something that would just been so obvious. But he decided to jump in, not knowing how black people feel about a thing, not knowing really about black people's perspective, jumped in and threw his perspective in it. And for the past couple of days, he's been defending himself from one black person after another who's been commenting on his comment. When all it took was just a simple, hey, Damon, what do you think? Hey, Damon, have you heard thus and so? Would have been simple. A lot of times people think they know something. And I've noticed that happens a lot of times with white guys when it comes to knowing things about other people. Oftentimes they think they know people better than they do, when it turns out everybody knows white people better than white people realize we know white people. It's a matter of survival. For white people, it's a matter of, I choose to know I choose to know black people. I choose to know Asian people. I choose to know Latino people. For all the rest of us living in the United States, it's a matter of, I need to know these people and how they think to survive.
That is true.
Yeah, that's the point.
And so now if you come back and you're like, okay, I'm going to write a character, no matter how well-meaning you may be, you say, I'm going to write a character and he's going to think thus and so. If I decided today I have no beef with Italian people. I'm picking people, right? What can I really say about living life in Italy? I've never lived life in Italy, but I'm going to write a character today who lives in Florence, Italy, because in college, I read a lot about Machiavelli, and I have some friends with Italian last names. Now I'm going to write an Italian character. Now, what does that look like?
It doesn't look like anything if you do the research.
Until I do the research. And that's the big part until I do the research. And that's the big question. Who takes the time to actually get to know black people before they start talking about black people? I think we've been talking recently about just drawing the hair on a black character.
Oh yeah,
What does
that's
that
pretty
look like?
perfect.
You can't even get hair straight. You can't tell me anything about my life or what I think, my perspective, or anything else. You can't even draw hair. And that's the most external, most obvious thing you can notice about a black person is his or her hair.
Well, you know what? I think if I can break it down to something else, I think when I read Song of Solomon, I think I read Song of Solomon like my senior year in high school with Toni Morrison, and I was amazed at how she got the perspective of the black man.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I was amazed at it to the point where I was just like, well, what the hell? You know, like, so I think that's a good example of someone, and that's like,
You
it's
said
based
Toni
on what
Morrison?
is, hold on. It's based on what I imagined or thought a black male was to be at that time at my age. It's a lot more convoluted, it's a lot more nuanced than what she wrote, but what she wrote was on the money. To me, and it still is to a point, because the character I'm talking about was Making Dead. And if you are like uninvolved and you haven't matured to a certain point, that's where you're going to be. You're going to be violent. You're going to be an authoritarian. So, and maybe she didn't have to do any research. Maybe she had done enough research as a black woman who lived around black men, and that was her experience. But she also made him that, but she made him something else too. He was gentle. He did have grace at times and stuff like that. He wasn't one-sided. He wasn't like a Mister in The Color Purple. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
but people have, people reflect from their own experiences. And I know for a fact that there are black women out there who have not seen grace and gentleness from black men.
Mm.
So if they choose to put that in their art and their creations, man, I don't begrudge them that. At
That's
all. As far as these white dudes, man, it's just like whatever. If I don't dig it, I won't buy it. Um, it just is what it is. And yes, you do have the actually white dude that thinks he's an expert on anything, even like blackness, your race, and what's black and what's not black, and who is black and whatever, and probably goes out every day and hasn't had a conversation with a black person in decades. So that's just what it is.
Yeah.
all right then. Well, yeah, and I mean, I do as we put a pin on this particular topic. I think about Tony Bernard, Marcus. And you remember this,
That's my
right?
man.
Kane and Negation. I
That's
was
my man.
amazed how well-rounded that black lead character was, because he was the lead character. He was black, but he was just so well-rounded.
But he
And
didn't
that's which
write
story?
him.
Which story?
Negation.
Negation from Cross Gen Comics, which is now defunct.
Okay.
He
Okay.
didn't write Kane as a black character. It seems like he took Christopher Priest's advice when Priest said, just write the character. Don't write him as a black. The other stuff about their race is really just a nuance and shit. Obregon Kane was smart, manipulative, strategic, because everybody around him was more powerful than him, and they could have squashed him like a grape. But he was their leader, and they went to the wall to protect them. And he pulled anything out his ass, any dirty trick out the book to keep them under control. But he never seemed to kind of like really lose his morality in doing so.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
we got to pull together to survive this, and we can only do it. We pull together, And even who was the member, the first that was stuck with him, who was obviously the most powerful person.
That was I think her name was Evelia.
Evelia, yeah. And
Yeah.
he got her to like, look, I know you're powerful, but this ain't gonna work. You gotta follow me. We work together, we can get out of here, which they did. They got off the planet, at least.
Yeah.
So
And she's ready to kill him on sight.
Yep. That was classic, man. So yeah. So I've decided I'm gonna keep the Absolute Power Origins by John Ridley on my pull list. I know a lot of people hate John Ridley because of the Black Panther run he did. But I've read other stuff from John Ridley that I've thoroughly enjoyed. Novel Wise, Conversation with a Man.
Everybody Smokes in Hell.
Yep, everybody smokes in hell. And then comic with some, the Other History of DC Universe was by John Ridley. I enjoyed that. The one he did about Renee Montoya as police commissioner, about one of the cops who had a fatal shooting. That was good. But people just kind of focus on the stuff they don't like and like, he's hell on earth. It's certain people, circles and shows on. I can't even mention John Ridley's name. They be ready to shun me for that.
He's had a bad run when he did that thing about the UK Black Civil Rights Movement, and it was just like he had the black dude, and his partner was like an Asian Indian woman, and people did not like that at all because they was like, well, where's the black woman at? And he was like, well, I was just trying to put because he's married to an Asian woman. He's like, I wanted it to be my experience. He's a creator. That's his right. But, people were mad. They was like, because, your creation isn't accurate to history. And it's like, it's erasing like the role of black women in the UK civil rights movement. And harping on that, well, I will say this. If you have not watched Small Acts, which was Steve McQueen's, he did 4 short films on it. It was a series on Amazon Prime. Please do so at your earliest convenience, man. Small Acts was dope as fuck, man.
Okay, so Small Acts. That's what we're going to add to our watch list.
Small Acts was dope as fuck. All-star cast. John Boyega. What's my girl that plays Shuri?
Letitia.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Letitia.
Yeah, Letitia Wright.
Yeah, Small Acts was dope as fuck, man. Definitely McQueen, and McQueen's from there. You
said it's Steve McQueen?
Steve McQueen, the black guy that did 12 Light, directed.
I'm over here thinking Bullet. When you said Steve McQueen.
We're talking about black
That's
Steve
white
McQueen.
Steve McQueen. It's a black Steve McQueen. Okay.
The guy that directed 12 Days as a Slave.
12 Years a Slave.
12 years, just like 12 Years a Slave.
They won an Oscar
for
12 Years a Slave.
I guess he was just in it. Oh, he wrote it?
He directed it.
Directed it.
Yeah,
okay.
John Ridley won the Oscar for 12 Years a Slave. That's what he won the Oscar for. But Steve McQueen, the British black guy, directed it.
Okay.
They won an Oscar for 12 Years a Slave.
You don't want an Oscar too,
Thank you. What happens every time I see Steve McQueen's name, I get thoroughly confused because my mind, as soon as I see Steve McQueen, I'm thinking about Bullet in my car. I love Mustangs. So I started thinking about that Steve McQueen. I'm like, wait a minute, what Steve McQueen got involved in this? No, we talking about black Steve McQueen. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, brother, you're all good.
So now we transition to TV stuff. I'm glad we brought this up. So my question is, have y'all all seen Deadpool and Wolverine? So this is the spoiler section. So anybody watching?
I have not, and I'll put this.
I have seen it. Down. I have seen it.
I'm gonna give y'all like 15 minutes. I'll be back in 15, man.
We ain't gonna no 15 minutes.
I'll give y'all 5 minutes.
Okay. During that time, you can ask me what books I read, Mark. Just
you went away. All right, Kevin, what you got to say about it? Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it. I keep seeing stuff on YouTube, but it's entertaining. It's entertainment. It's it feeds the lowest common denominator. I have always felt like I watched Deadpool.
Okay.
Deadpool become popular, and Deadpool was created by a guy I'm not crazy about.
Oh,
but
this is good right here. Okay, go.
But he had
shit on Rob Liefeld.
Hold up, Daniel. Let him get his piece.
Man, you don't. Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. Don't defend Rob Liefeld. Success does not equate with intelligence or genius as a creator. Rob Liefeld, while I respect what he does and has done, he is an opportunist. He's a subpar artist. And I say that as an artist, and I've always said it, and that's never going to change. But he knows how to put his hands on the best Deadpool stuff that's ever been drawn has been drawn by other people. The best Deadpool stuff that's ever been written has been written by other people other than its creator. And that's just the truth.
And we had this conversation, Kev, when I was at your house. that basically Louise Simonson was what the first real writer of Deadpool. Well, Cable, we know for sure, and probably had input on Deadpool being created. So she was the influencer writer, and then Rob Liefeld just kind of like, I got this character, which it took me years to figure out that he was basically a ripoff of Deathstroke the Terminator and Spider-Man.
And there you go. Yeah. Yes, he is.
So Damon, I want to hear your defense on this. This is going to be interesting.
Rob Liefeld, when I was a kid, this dude made my childhood. Rob Liefeld, Eric Larson, Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, Mark Silvestri, everybody, Wills Portacio,
everybody you named except for Liefeld are good artists.
He said everybody.
Everybody you named. Everybody, I got books by all the cats you named, and I go down and name the stuff I like by him. Rob Liefeld was a copycat. I'm sorry.
I thought I heard somebody jacking off of to Rob Liefeld.
You did.
You know that, and so I got to fight. The man stole the design of comic book pages.
I don't know anything about that. I just know I want to see my goddamn patches on my characters and some big ass guns and fucked up feet. If I want to see it, I want to see it. No, but seriously.
You gotta realize,
but you see, that's not what makes them successful. Like, Deadpool isn't successful because of all the pockets. Deadpool was successful because he was self-referential. He talked to the camera like he talked to us in the comics, right?
Right.
He was aware of his situation and he didn't give a fuck. He's crazy.
And he also looked like Spider-Man.
And so that's all that Liefeld gave him that meant anything. He looked like Spider-Man.
What I remember thinking back to my childhood. So I told you I came in with Extinction Agenda. For New Mutants, Extinction Agenda ended at issue 97.
True.
Deadpool
comes in
98. Was 98, and I do not have that book, and that pisses me off.
I had it in the stolen collection.
And then I got the X-Force subscription back when they were mailing it, like a mail order, right, from Marvel. So I got that. And so I actually have his second appearance, Deadpool's second appearance, because his second appearance was in X-Force 2.
Was it number 2 or number 1? It was 2. Did he get stabbed in the back by somebody? Somebody shot him in the back or stabbed him in the back?
Stabbed.
He was fighting one of the weapons. I think weapon, not X, the Wolverine's weapon X. Weapon 2, I forgot who he was, but you see him getting on the cover, a black cover of X-Force 2, somebody standing over Deadpool shooting him.
Yep.
And so it's a black cover, one of the weapons guys shooting Deadpool. And the funny thing about it though, I didn't think much about it. He's just another character as far as I was concerned. And I don't recall him doing all the fourth wall breaking stuff. I don't recall him. I do remember that he talked. I don't recall him being the merc with the mouth. And I don't recall him being that funny. I do recall him being deadly. And then something happened over time, and I wasn't in my comic books as much. And then next thing I know, he's blowing up in terms of his popularity. He's the merc with the mouth. He's funny, like Spider-Man is funny. He's deadly, like Deathstroke is deadly. He's, I guess, the cousin, as Wade Wilson is the cousin of Slade Wilson, something like that. So he's some kind of weird hybrid of the two. And I'm like, fuck it, whatever. It's an interesting character.
We go too much forward. I have never really liked Deadpool in the comic books. The movies, all his appearances in movies are good. And that's probably primarily to Ryan Reynolds.
They are.
Yeah.
The movies are much. I've been telling people, don't even bother wasting your time reading Deadpool comic book. That's what I tell people.
It's maybe fair to say Ryan Reynolds did better with Deadpool
He's
than Rob
good.
Liefeld.
Deadpool is also good in the animation too, because I remember in the they did the one, it was Wolverine versus Hulk, Wolverine versus Thor,
Uh-huh.
and Deadpool, Deadpool, they caught Wolverine, and Deadpool walks up to Wolverine where they got him tied up. He was like, "You still got that adamantium skeleton?" He was like, "Yeah," and Deadpool shot him in the head. And right before he passed out, you hear Deadpool like, "I shot you." So he's funny, man. He's funny on screen, but not in the books. But it's like
Spider-Man is funny in the books and on screen. Deadpool is as funny on screen, in my opinion.
Spider-Man is an asshole in the books. Like, I've looked at it like Spider-Man, the difference between Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and like we kind of let it pass because he's dealing with villains, but Spider-Man is like mean, man.
Spider-Man is mean?
He's a
Spider-Man mean.
You ever seen him fight?
Let's explore this. Is Spider-Man mean? Okay,
When
wow.
he's joking and fighting the Vulture, that motherfucker's mean, man.
Oh, he
Like
definitely
me.
ages against the Vulture.
I don't recall Spider-Man being mean. I recall Spider-Man trying to be light of the moment.
You wouldn't think it mean until you think after the fact. But someone kicking your ass and joking on you and cracking jokes, that's some mean shit. That's some mean shit.
I'm beating your tail today. You can't hang. But
And some motherfuckers he handles now. Even though I think he shouldn't be able to handle the Vulture like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can do it with the Vulture. He can't do it with the Scorpion. He definitely can't do it with Norman Osborn.
Well, we're going to talk about this Norman Osborn because you and I, Mark, I think we were both still living in Atlanta at that time. And I was reading Ultimate Spider-Man, the Bendis Ultimate Spider-Man, where he kind of first runs to Norman Osborn as the Ultimate Green Goblin. And Norman Osborn was like, "Boy, I will beat you within an inch of your life and bring you back and kill everybody around you and beat you down again." I'm like, damn.
Can I go back to my story that I want to talk about? If we're going to talk about Spider-Man versus Hobgoblin versus Ghost Rider, written by Todd McFarlane. There was not a goddamn thing that was funny.
But that was
it's not a Spider-Man fan. Let's be honest.
That was McFarlane writing Spider-Man like he was Batman. He was dark, he was brooding, and Ghost Rider in that storyline was like a force of nature. Because he was trying to like stop Ghost Rider from killing the demonized Hobgoblin. Yes. And it was this little girl caught in the middle.
Little boy. It's a little boy.
Whatever,
it was 30 years ago, so I don't hold you accountable for that. That's a small detail.
All right, well, points, nigga. I mean, shit, what we gonna do? It's like Ghost Rider didn't care about the kid at all. Ghost Rider was just on some, I need to punish this mofo.
Yes.
So I like the characterization of Ghost Rider better than like he characterized Spider-Man, but McFarlane should have been writing Spider-Man anyway.
But McFarlane was hot, and he was the hot person. They wanted to sell more Spider-Man books.
But he should not have been writing that fucking book, and he didn't even want to.
He wanted the money, though.
He wanted the money, but no. If you when I look at those books, and they're still worth a lot, he did not want to write that book, man. After those issues, that in the first issue, that book was shit, man. That book was shit.
Wait, Eric Larson picked it up after Todd McFarlane, and Eric Larson has some interesting stuff to say. The one where what I like, and I still like this about Spider-Man, Peter Parker Spider-Man. I'm not even really that into the character, but I like the Spider-Man where he at least took the time to talk to Beast from X-Men, because he said that he wanted to start a family. He wanted to have a child with Mary Jane, but he was concerned about the fact that his baby would definitionally be a mutant, because it would be through his genes that are, even though he got his stuff through the spider bite, his child would be born with some kind of ability or some kind of mutation of some sort.
Well, he was talking to the wrong motherfucker, because Beast ain't happy with how he is.
He's not, but still, he did take the time. You gotta, I appreciate the notion of somebody, because we taking this applying the metaphor to real life, somebody who is situationally cognizant enough that would say, hey, I may not be an expert on what my child has to go through. And so he took that moment to say, Beast, what would life for my child be like? I'm asking you because you're a mutant.
That
And
is
my
like
child.
that is like a black dude getting a white chick pregnant and going to Clarence Thomas for advice. For real.
Oh, boy. Woo!
Wait, let me see.
Woo! That's the comment of the show right there.
Okay.
That's the show right there.
Beast
Okay.
ain't the one.
Okay. I'm gonna let it go. Okay.
Woo, boy. And
I
the
was
thing
thinking
is,
I had it organized in my head like a white man having a black child and asking a black person, but given the way Beast has been acting,
in that version of Beast, Krakoa Beast is probably dead. I'm not sure, but we have a younger version of Beast, a pre-Krakoa download of Beast right now. That's who's on Cyclops current in the X-Men, because
he's a better Beast, isn't he? Like a better Beast, like a non-villainous Beast. Because I didn't read the Dark Beast shit. I did not.
When he Dark Beast, he was just like, I call him Krakoa Beast, because he was running X-Force. Like, look, if we're gonna be a nation, we gotta have our own version of CIA, and the CIA does whatever necessary to protect the nation, and that's what Beast started off from. And eventually, he just kind of spiraled out of control. Like, well, hey.
Well, you know what? Well, the thing that gets me about it with Beast, I do want to go back to Osborn because I got a lot to say about him. But with Beast, it's like, remember when Beast was with the Avengers? Like early Avengers, like 80 Avengers.
When he and Wonder Man were best friends, basically. And
Wonder Man Beast was confident, cocky as hell. He was loved by everyone. He had no shortage of women trying to get with him and all that. And he had no problems with what he was, who he was, and how he looked. In fact, the furry Beast, the more bestial Beast, he was just a hairy dude. When Beast had, when he didn't have the fur and all that, and he had those enlarged feet and hands, that's when he looked more monstrous. He was so I don't understand like the judgment on that, because there's a lot of people in worse positions in that world than Beast who legitimately could have some concerns. I think them putting that on Beast. I think when Beast further mutated, when he got like the cat-like face and all that.
Doing Grant Morris's run on New X-Men,
which I know you have problems with. Which I know
you have problems with. I know.
Of course.
But Grant Morrison is Kevin's spiritual writer person.
I'm just gonna get out and walk around. I've just been sitting in this car. Y'all keep going. I'm just walking.
What are you gonna say, Kevin? I knew you was gonna say something on that, on Grant Morrison.
What? About what? I'm I don't have to defend that man, because one thing he did, his run on X-Men.
Huh? I said I'm not attacking him. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying. I don't have to defend him, because his run. The thing about X-Men is bad shit happens to X-Men. Excuse my French, right?
Yeah.
And Grant Morrison tapped into that, and his run on X-Men followed that. So, man, the Beast is an unlucky cat who makes it through regardless. Like, one of the things I love as I learned how to like Bendis was,
what?
Yeah, I said it. Learned how to like Bendis, because I go back and forth with Bendis. But when they reintroduced the young X-Men, they put through time, right? And Beast told Marvel Girl he had a crush on her, and they started having a relationship because he was more sure of himself. For some reason at that time, you know what I mean? Because he hadn't gotten into mutating himself further to change himself, and that was an interesting take on the character. So I'm a student of the bubbly, bouncing Beast. That's the character I was introduced to.
That's the dude I was talking about.
And him and Wonder Man was the coolest team of guys in the world. So to me, he never seemed to have problems.
Yep.
But it's like
You know
Wonder
what I
Man is
mean?
also in a bad situation right now. Wonder Man, last time he showed up, he was in Revengers. Like, I hate everybody who's ever been an Avenger. I hated being an Avenger. Y'all made me this violent
But
person.
we'll
Now
have to do
I
a
don't.
whole nother show on Wonder Man and what they've done to him. You know
They've
what
done
I'm
that
saying?
brother wrong. But
We
he's
could
black
do that.
now.
A
And
show
he's
on Wonder
black
Man.
now.
Now they screwed him over.
No, what I'm saying is like I've always felt like they've never know what to do with him.
They didn't. They didn't. They
So
didn't.
so that's the thing. So it's like, all right, that's why they ultimately they killed him. It was like, all right, you know, and or they made him a figment of Scarlet Witch's imagination. Basically, they made him like her genie and shit like that. So he
Yeah.
got to be the crazy bitch's genie. Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that. I mean, basically, remember, and I was young reading this. Like, me and Kevin had this conversation. John Burns running West Coast Avengers. He put that team through it, and Bendis obviously was influenced by that, reading that growing up. Think
No,
about it.
but this happened after West Coast, man. Remember they made it so it was like when he died supposedly,
Uh-huh.
and then she like summoned him and he came back. He was all ionic energy.
I do
He was
remember
like
that.
I come back because you wanted me and because you know I love you. Like
I've
he got to
always
be
loved.
crazy bitch's genie.
Well, and I know you on the pros kill Scarlet Witch tip as well. You said that numerous times. Like, she need to get put down.
I stand by
He saw stand by it.
it. Stand by it.
But
He couldn't serve
are
on
you in the same? You
anything.
see that same about
He
Jean
couldn't
Grey?
do nothing,
You know
huh?
what I mean? The same boat.
Listen.
I mean,
Any
did she not turn into
any
Dark
powerful
Phoenix?
woman created by John Byrne has to be killed because she's dangerous.
Ooh, what you think about that?
Well, I think he's right. And John Byrne be having them destroy shit. One destroy the galaxy.
Yeah.
One plays hopscotch with reality
Yeah.
when she has a bad fucking day.
Yeah.
So yeah, he made. So look, I think I'm not. This isn't like me talking about women. I love women. I'm not like that. But this is again what we talked about: a white man's version of what a woman is and how they act. And he's given
Yeah.
immense amounts of power
Yeah.
and they don't know what to do with it when they get upset. So they destroy shit and then they have to be stopped and put down. And that is from a middle-aged white dude.
Who's
So
now cranky and not what he used to be. Because every time I see some of John Byrne right now, I feel like it's borderline
So
racist.
is
so
that
yeah, those aren't
is
the
that the
women that I
background
know.
summarization of Dark Phoenix saga?
Yeah,
Didn't
those
he
aren't
write
the
that?
women that I know. Those are the women that he put forth. You know, like, oh man, these bitches unstable and they got power, man. We gotta kill it. Yeah, they have to, as they were written. Yeah, they do have to be put down, like motherfuckers. It's sweet.
But he continuously, John Byrne, and Claremont, he continuously makes these women the most powerful creatures that he creates that cannot maintain a relationship.
Well, that's
And it make them
because
go
he makes
crazy.
them unstable.
Yes.
He makes them
Yes.
powerful and unstable. You don't have to be powerful and unstable.
Yes.
But
So that's
who are
So
we
you
seeing
said
as
so you're
powerful
saying
than is
basically when John Byrne is writing, power and stability are mutually exclusive for women.
But I'm saying what
I'll say
character is
Claremont.
powerful and stable though? I'm saying who is powerful and stable in comic books?
Wonder
Superman,
Woman.
Wonder Woman,
I can't put with that Superman and Wonder Woman.
Big Barda.
Barda.
But
I mean, we can do more.
Barda came out of hell, right?
Came straight out of hell.
So she's
I thought
dealt
she
with
came
shit.
from Apocalypse,
Well,
Apocalypse.
that's
Yeah,
it.
but she was a female
which is
That's
basically
it.
hell. Okay, let me step back. Which is basically hell. All right,
In a stable
planet
ass
hell.
relationship, love her man and take care of him.
She do love
Exactly.
Scott Free. Do take care of it. It's like her, Scott Free, and that baby. That's all she cares about.
Man.
Right.
So
But John Byrne also did the issue Superman where they basically both Superman lost his memory and Barda lost his memory, and they basically did that porn movie with them. I ran across that recently. I had to go back and read that.
look, man, John Byrne is the dude who put She-Hulk in a porn episode, but pretty much, man. I love the dude's art. The dude is problematic. In fact, if you ever come across the shit that Chris Cross said about John Byrne when he met him, And Chris Cross like left that encounter like I had to tell him I'm gonna slap the shit out of him.
Did he?
Chris
Yes,
Cross said
I'm
that.
not surprised.
yes he did.
I'm not surprised.
Yes he did.
But I think, and I think we have to realize, I realize comic creators that I grew up reading, right, dealing with the guys that came out the 70s, 80s, were problematic because their audience were limited people. Who they were in their mind writing for
Mm-hmm.
was a limited people. But the audience of comics is expansive, right?
Right.
So we're four guys that love comics. Now, maybe when you guys started reading comics, there was a lot of black guys running around. But when I started reading comics, and my father would say,
Man.
I'm gonna get you a book with black characters in it.
Could find it.
I can count them on these hands if I'm lucky. Both comic book companies, right? And until Milestone came out, you ain't see niggas.
Yeah.
And the ones who
And
did see did not really have dignity. I had to
no,
not check the one we were talking about Blade. And she was like, well, Blade has been good. I was like, do you remember his original incarnation? I was
see the
like, he's a
70s
dude
stuff.
walking around with a wooden switchblade talking about, sucker, I'll cut you. With Afro. Like, man.
He had wooden spikes. He ain't have a wooden switchblade. Don't you do
Wooden
that?
spike.
Don't you do
But
that?
we do
Don't you
know,
do that to Blade?
but we can reference that to like
But
the
you're
thing
right.
about black men and knives.
I get
He
your
was
I,
he was a
I
70s
get
black
your point.
exploitation
When people
character.
talk
He
about
was a
that fight
70s black
between Luke
exploitation.
Cage
I mean,
and Doctor Doom,
it was like Animal House. Do you mind if we dance with your dates? You know what that shit was?
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that what you gonna say about Luke Cage and Doctor Doom?
yeah, man. When I saw that, it was like you owe me $200, and Doctor Doom was looking at him like, "Are you seriously coming at me about some $200?"
It's about 200.
Well, that's one of my favorite scenes in comics, period, man. Because Luke got in that ass. Luke
About
went to
$200.
Latveria. It was like, and Doom was like, yeah. And really, here's the point about it. Like, Doom is supposed to be so dignified and shit like that. But you're going to welt on $200. So Cage got over there and got in that tail. And Cage isn't like, Cage is he's more durable than he is strong. So let's just say that off the bat. He's stronger now, but he's more durable. He's like, man, if I just hit the same spot on your cheap ass armor, nigga, you know, then I'ma get you. And that's what he did. Fuck Doom up, and Doom was like, here, take the 200. And I would love to see someone like spoof off of that now, like Cage and Doom meet. And Doom like toss him $200, something like that. Like it'd be a joke between them and shit like that. You know,
That need to be something. That need to be something that keep coming up among the black characters. So like somebody like I don't know Falcon or something, and just out the blue for no reason. Like, nigga, you remember that last time you went at Doom about your $200? Just for no reason, just bring that up.
he said, "Where's my money, honey?
Where's my money, honey?"
Oh man, but
that needs to keep coming up. That see, that's one of those little things that a black writer could normally catch that a white writer, because a black people would we would never live that down. Remember that time you went and got $200 off Dr. Duke just for no reason?
Well, you know what? We also, let's not act like there's an editorial process. And like, that's the gatekeeping mode. And we don't even know who's over there. So we know, Priest is back and found favor, which I love.
But Priest is at Dynamite. I mean, he was at DC.
He was at DC doing the thing with Deathstroke.
Huh?
He was doing the thing.
That was a long run for Deathstroke that Priest had. It ran in
Priest wrote Deathstroke. I didn't remember that.
Yeah, it happened.
This was about 2 or 3 years ago. Look, Priest does one thing. Ultimately, he can make a character hot and interesting if they let him do what he needs to do. Now, sometimes he'll get off like whatever. But like to me, his is the seminal run of Black Panther. He was the start of Black Panther's ride. They gave to Hutland
being popular, in my opinion.
Yeah, Hutland's run wasn't even that goddamn good.
Who wasn't that good?
Hutland.
Who? Oh, Hutland. Oh,
Hudlin.
Well, Hudlin. Wait. I see Kev talk. Hold on. Let me look that. Hold up, Kev. I see you talking. Let me unmute you. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey,
Go
is there
ahead.
anybody else watching this that want to comment or anything?
We ain't got nobody watching. We're just recording this one.
Oh, we recorded. Okay.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Kev?
No, although I enjoyed Hudlin's Black Panther story, it didn't impress me because
Yeah.
he was, huh?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Because a lot of the stuff he was just retouching a lot of stuff that has been done over the 30 years, 40 years of Black Panther's existence, precluding even Christopher Priest, that people just ignore. That was interesting stuff, but mostly was created by white writers and was disturbing at
Yeah, but
best.
see, what made Hudlin run so popular? Because I remember going to the comic store and the guy was like, "Look, man, white guy who run the comic store." He's like, "Look, I'm gonna tell you something. I think Priest writing was better, but I have sold more Hudlin Black Panthers than I ever sold a Priest."
Hudlin
Yeah.
got more marketing, man. They marketed the shit out of Hudlin's book, man. They
That's true.
marketed the fuck out of that book.
And it was the pop version. It was a pop version of comics. That's what I like to say. You know what I mean? It didn't have to be too deep. Hit on certain points.
But what I remember the most about the Hudlin run is one, he gets Monica Rambeau and like tells her, "Look, you a goddess. You got all these powers and stuff like that. Be the queen. I know you can be." People love that part.
And also remember they gave him John Romita Jr. as his artist.
But that's true.
They were trying to sell that fucking book. They were not. They were trying to sell in the way they weren't trying to do when Priest was writing it.
Yeah.
And then the second thing, of course, Hudlin along with Dwayne McDuffie marries, T'Challa and Aurora, Storm. That becomes.
And then they broke him up, and I'm still mad about that.
That probably was the best thing that Hudlin ever did.
Unless they make Anuket a thing. That was under Cheryl Lynn Eaton.
Now, what I like under Priest run, Priest started the feud between Iron Man and T'Challa, which was dope as fuck. Because he was like, "Motherfucker, you don't respect me." And then, yeah, I'm king of a nation. You're a rich white boy. And you think you can tell me what the fuck to do?
He's, "I've never been to your house, Tony." And he said, "You've never been to your house, Tony."
Yeah. So, Priest put a lot of shit in motion, man, with T'Challa and Black Panther. That was like, man, with the whole Black Panther being a mantle. When Killmonger won that time and was like, "Well, I'm the Panther now. I'm with the Avengers." When he showed up like a pimp with the pet leopard and shit. And they was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm here." And they had to accept it. Priest, man, he just had a better imagination than dude, man. I know Helen went to Harvard, and
You like the Boondocks. I went to Harvard.
all of that. I went to Savannah State. Oh well. So it's like shit, man. The dude was just more imaginative and creative than Hudlin, man. But Hudlin got the push that Priest should have got. I like Priest on books, and I could tell Priest got like disheartened towards the end. Because remember, towards the end, he started making Panther like a Batman thing. He even developed this whole character that was just like the Joker. I was like, yeah, this dude. I was like, this dude achieved it. He's like, this. I was like,
he did create a Joker-ish character. That's true. I was
like, this dude wants out of his contract. Like, now it's like on some lazy shit. Like,
but also Priest did the crew. He had Casper Coles, as Black Panther for a while. Priest did a lot of different things.
The crew was dope. The crew was
not pushed. Back. That's true. The crew was not pushed at all.
It wasn't
like 6-7 issues.
No. Nope, it wasn't. It wasn't. So I think there's the thing. And Priest is talking about.
It's not going to be pushed. If they even tried it in the future, it would take a lot of work to get it pushed.
Priest has talked about his whole experience in the comic industry at length on his website. Now, remember, Priest was doing that before there was a Facebook or a Twitter at ChristianPriest.com. And he talked about his whole experience in comics and stuff like that, and how him and what's my man that wrote G.I. Joe? Larry Hama.
Larry Hama.
Larry Hama.
Larry Hama. Okay.
And he talked about, those things are really worth reading, man. Because Priest was like, man,
They were the
the
only
black
minorities
artists
in
met my
Marvel, right?
office one day. We were just hanging out and shit, and they thought we were like plotting revolution. He talks like a bunch of shit about about how crazy it got, with them, man.
This doing the Jim Shooter era because me and Kevin talked about the Jim Shooter era. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow, Jim Shooter ain't nowhere near the big two at all, man.
Well, that's the point, man. They gave that kid, and don't get me wrong, man. I respect Jim Shooter. Jim Shooter started Valiant. Valiant has some really dope characters, and I'm a big fan of Shadow Man.
But
But
now Jim Shooter didn't write Shadow Man. That was my man. Don't give Jim Shooter any.
no,
Talking
no,
about
no,
from
no, no, no.
Valiant
I just
Shadow
said,
Man?
I said he started the Valiant universe. I said I'm
Yeah,
a big fan of Shadow. I didn't say he wrote it. I'm not giving him
yeah,
props. I'm not giving him credit for
okay,
writing it. I'm not doing that now.
yeah.
But who did start it though?
You
I'm
remember
trying
that?
to think. I can't think of the writer.
I just downloaded. It was on Comixology. I read the whole run. I was like, man, Shadow Man was dope as fuck.
It was in. I
Are
have
we
it. It
talking about
was
the
an incredible
Valiant
run.
Shadow Man? I'm just
Yeah,
asking to
Valiant
clarify.
Shadow Man. Yep.
That was a
Okay.
beautiful fucking
I
book,
got that
man.
first issue.
It was an incredible run. It was an
Yep.
interesting character and an interesting idea
How
that
about
they went
voodoo?
into.
Black supernatural magic.
Talking about voodoo. Yes, voodoo.
How about blackness? That old black magic. You know what I'm saying?
The whole black magic.
It's so.
Mm.
Why they
Well,
ain't like that, goddamn?
you know, Valiant is making a comeback. I don't know if you saw that. It's making another comeback.
It's not a
Valiant.
big. You know what? It's
Man,
But they
always
Valiant been
gonna
doing that like
recycle.
2 times, 3 times maybe.
So
it's
what's
going
that
to be
mean?
in
Like
play.
Exo Man of War and Harbinger gonna be a thing again?
Because
Yeah, I
they
mean,
made a couple movies. They made a couple movies, didn't
well,
they?
they
They made
made
Exo Man
They
of War
made
made a movie.
Bloodsport.
Bloodshot. Wait, they made Bloodshot with Vin Diesel.
Bloodshot, yeah.
Bloodshot, and
How
they
you
did
doing,
something
lady?
else.
Your whole look is very real cute. Just so you know. All right, you take care.
Okay. Mac, 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 Mac.
Back on the attack.
What? I'm just having a conversation.
All right, man.
Play
Yeah,
on, player.
but Shadow Man. I mean, Valiant has been back a couple times because I mean, the Exo Man of War is actually my favorite Valiant title.
Man, I've always had like an affinity for Exo Man Award, man. The
Because it's like Iron Man
barbarian,
with no
Did you
limits, basically.
freeze?
the barbarian and the sophisticated armor, man. The barbarian that has technology that he doesn't quite understand. And somehow they mailed this shit. Exo Man Awards to Iron Man, we all deserve the shit.
You're
Fuck
right.
this
Exo Man of War is always good. It's always good,
sophisticated
bro.
ass pansy and
When I
some
came
armor
to it
he
late,
created.
yeah.
Give me that barbarian, like, man, you a weapon. Good skin. That's what he called it. Good skin. Let's go wreak havoc, man. He's like, if I had this, man, I'd have destroyed Rome.
He was a
That's my
Visigoth.
favorite
He
line.
was a Visigoth. He was like, I was destroying Rome. What? Y'all lucky. Y'all lucky the Roman
Yep.
Empire's gone.
You lucky I got time displaced, motherfucker.
Because if I had been there, it'd have been over.
Right.
Visigoths would have ruled the world.
And he was the Visigoth barbarian, the mugs that did in Rome.
Ooh.
The German barbarians, he was one of them. He was like, oh, we the got y'all. So yeah.
Oh man, I enjoyed that though, man.
Exo Man Award was hot. Bloodsport was hot. Harbinger was hot. But Harbinger was hot because of the whole go-between between Harada and Stan.
Now Harbinger, he was the one that was in that red maxi dress, right?
Nah, that's Magnus
It was
Robot
group of
Fighter.
kids.
Yeah.
Harbinger was like their version of mutant. Like people had the Harbinger gene.
Harbinger reminds me of Akira, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, well, Harada is like an Xavier overpowered. And then he finds someone that's like him. And he's like, well, either you gonna be under me or you ain't gonna be nowhere. And it goes from that. Harbinger is dope, man.
Yeah, I mean, but I saw Valiant is gonna come back again under some the Valiant Universe Reborn. I just saw it publicized recently.
And they brought those key titles like Solar Man of the Atom is the thing they have. Because Solar is essentially a god. So Solar is hard for them to deal with, It's like, what are you gonna do with the person who can do anything?
I mean, he's their universe's Captain Atom,
Oh, do
basically.
that again. Say that again. What you
Nah,
gonna
he ain't
do?
Captain Adam, man. He's more of maybe a Silver Surfer, maybe maybe damn near a Beyonder. Solar, it's not much Solar can't do. It's like he has to proceed. I just remember reading the episode where his woman came to him. She's about to jump off a mountain, and he stopped her. And she was like, "Look, I'm tired. You just keeping me alive. I need you to let me die." And
How you
he
doing?
couldn't understand like why. And she was like, "Everyone around me is dead. I don't like being here and having this elongated life just to be your companion." And she was like, by the way, it sucks. You know, like it sucks. And it sucks being around. She's like, how many people around the world are dying, because disease and stuff like that, and you keeping me around? And like in the end, he took her life. He took his energy from her because he was like, yeah, you're right. I'm being selfish.
But that's an interesting play on what you also talked about, Marcus, and it's come back. Was it Miracle Man? Basically the second phase after the whole destruction of London, when they like, all right, we just going to take over the world. And
oh yeah, well, yeah, exactly. When he becomes a god too, but there's resistance. Like Miracle Lad is like, man, I don't kind of like what y'all on. But Miracle Man, that's one of those seminal books that changed the game. Changed the game. They took
Alan Moore wrote that, right? Was he the one who wrote that?
Yep, it was Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman.
And Neil Gaiman came in afterwards.
They wrote the Red King Syndrome. When it was like, he had the magic word. He was Captain Marvel, pretty much. He had the magic word that would change him into a superpowered being. Then he forgot it. And then some trauma brought it back. And then when he fought his assistant, Kid Miracle Man, said, I'm never going to change back. And he went insane. That was the Red King Syndrome. He beat him. They put him somewhere where he couldn't say the magic word. But then he got raped.
Well, what?
Yeah, man.
Alan Moore wrote
like Activator rape.
He got ass raped.
No. Worse than Activator getting raped. I know Activator from the Shield.
The Shield.
No. He got anally raped, dude. Boondocks anally raped.
Yes. Boondocks anally raped. Like Tom.
I don't think anybody got it worse than Activator, but okay.
The Booty Warrior got to him. Tom got to him. You remember that world then, and then he rained hell down on London.
He did, man.
And he didn't care about anything or anybody, man.
And then,
that would do it.
Miracle Man had to come find him and killed him. He killed him.
Yeah, he killed him, man.
And then they rebuilt London, because Neil Gaiman, Miracle is Marvel Man now. That series has been coming out, Marvel Man: The Silver Age, where
they were put out there,
brought back to life, and he's like, what the hell are y'all doing here, man?
Yeah, but he rebuilt London and the world in his image.
Right. It's like
they aren't
supernatural stuff.
What I loved about it was like when they talked about the two different personalities, because he was like, I turned into it, but I'm not really him and shit. Like, and he was like, man, his thoughts, my thoughts are jumbled. His thoughts are like poetry. He's like, I'm not this person. I'm just experiencing life through him. And then when his wife came to him, was like, I'm pregnant. It's not yours. It's Miracle Man.
Damn.
But yeah, man, Miracle Man was a trip, man.
All right, let me ask you this. Everything that you're telling me, when did these stories come out? I got a point that I'm about to make, but y'all go ahead.
Like
what
80s,
year?
80s, man.
80s?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I bring that up because Mark didn't get around to asking me. He doesn't need to. Mark did not get around to asking me what I read this week, last week, whatever. I find myself as a collector picking up stuff that came up, like, for example, you all don't know this. This just happened, but I just bought the Origin Wonder Woman 206 Volume 1 of Nubia, right? And I'm trying to get 204, which is her first appearance. These are old books, and y'all telling me about these old stories. and Mark never asked me about any of the stuff that I've been reading lately. How do you all feel? Now I'm about to make my point. Here you go. How do you all feel about reading comics now? What is the difference between reading comics in the year 2024 going on 2025 versus when we talk about these back issues, like you all talking about the 80s books, no shade, no hate, but you all talking about these 80s books, and most times in podcasts or anything else, people are talking about what just came out. How do you all feel about the new books versus the old books? And I'll stop talking.
Less creativity and imagination.
Say that again.
Less creativity and imagination.
Okay.
Kev, what you think?
I I think we have to look between the mainstream, the quote unquote mainstream, what used to be the big two, DC and Marvel, which is really now we would include, I guess, to a certain degree, some of the Image stuff. But there's so many independent books that sell because you can sell those properties. Those properties can turn into movies, television shows, or whatever. So it's really driven by what kind of stories do these people want to tell. I came from an age where they told these long, epic stories at one point that really focused on what white men and white women were doing, right?
That's fair.
And then we're slowly including other, dealing with inclusion to a certain degree. But there's always been under the eyes, the auspices of us comic book people, these are our stories, but they never were. They weren't black stories. None of the comics I read were black stories until we got to Milestone, right?
Man, honorable mention, Brother Man, Big City Comics.
Bro, exactly. But I had a homeboy that got Brother. The only reason I knew about Brother Man, I had a homeboy. He considered himself a rapper. He could find Brother Man anywhere, but you didn't find it at the comic book shop. You found it. Well, I'm talking about in the early mid '80s when Brother Man came out. That brother would order it, where he'd find out about it. You didn't find Brother Man at the comic book shop, unless
I had to order it. I heard of it. I saw Kadeem Hardison was doing an interview on Yom TV Rap.
Yeah.
And he had the Brother Man classic T-shirt, Dictator Discipline.
Yeah.
This is like '92. I
Yes.
ordered one. I started buying the book. I was into it. This was when I spent that summer out in Compton, out in LA. So I went out there, man. I was at my cousins and my uncles, and I was like, it was a black dude out there who owned a comic book shop. I remember he had like his wife was like Korean. And so I'd be out there every week buying books and stuff like that. And like that's how I got my Brother Man titles. And I remember when I like sent them a money order, like, man, mail me that T-shirt. I want one of them again, man. Like, man, I love it. I love Brother Man. I remember they had that deal with Toys R Us. Toys R Us had an issue with one of their covers. Because there was an issue where the dude was painting a picture of a woman sitting down in a chair, but the thing he was painting was her tied up and gagged. And they were like, change the cover, and they were like, hell nah. In fact, the writer, Guy Sims, I think he's like at the position at Lincoln University.
So that's Brother Man?
Yep.
Brother Man.
What type? What company?
It was Big City Comics.
Which one?
Big City Comics.
It was an independent title because I had some issues with Brother Man too in the Stolen Collection. The Stolen Collection.
I asked that question because DC used to do that regularly with Wonder Woman, but you gotta look at the background origin. When I say background, I mean not the comic book lore, but the people who made her.
Yeah, but
you get into that.
That's publishing, and that changed over time. These were two brothers who started a book, and they got the biggest contract of their life, Toys R Us, and they turned that shit down over creative control, which I honor them for that, man. I honor them for that. They could have took the money, which was kind of like the same issue Milestone had. If we talking right.
I mean, but you said Dwayne McDuffie was, Dwayne McDuffie, I'm happy he got honored recently at San Diego Comic-Con. Dwayne McDuffie really was a force for comic books. I mean, this brother was good. To Marcus' point earlier about Christopher Priest had his own little website. Dwayne McDuffie had that message board. And and he would directly talk to you. I mean, that message board was fire, man.
I talked to Dwayne McDuffie. Dwayne McDuffie told me to send him my stories, and he would critique them, man. You know, I love Dwayne McDuffie, man, and I was very saddened by his passing.
And I said this,
Yeah.
I said this in a discussion with somebody else on somebody else's show. I said, man, Dwayne McDuffie is the reason why Jon Stewart is alive today. I stand by that because
Yes,
I
he
feel
is.
like
I will stand with you.
Marcus, we've talked about you tell your version of it because we were like they finna kill Jon Stewart.
Yeah, we were like reading, was like they about to kill dude, man. Like he was getting, they were doing what they do to black characters, marginalizing them.
Hold on. Just to clarify for the podcast, they're about to kill who? Jon Stewart.
Green Lantern,
Yes,
Jon Stewart.
Green Lantern, Jon Stewart. But what stopped it?
Dwayne McDuffie. Specifically using Dwayne McDuffie, using that character in
the Justice League. And not only did he use him, he made him the most responsible, most capable, most effective characters on the show. He made him integral. He wasn't like a side piece. He made Jon Stewart be what a Green Lantern's supposed to be, a heavy hitter on the team, man.
And have you all read any of Jeffrey Thorne's work on Green Lantern and seen his interviews about what he was trying to do with Green Lantern, specifically Jon Stewart?
I didn't really see his Jeffrey Thorne's interviews, but I did buy that whole run of Green Lantern. A lot of people didn't like it because it kind of,
which run of Green Lantern did he write?
He wrote the one before. The one we currently in was Green Lantern War Journal with Philip Kennedy Johnson. That's that spooky version of it, which is good. This one, Thorne had where basically they got lost in another universe, and Jon Stewart.
I like that one. That shit was dope, man.
Everything's cool. All right.
Remember Mosaic though, man? When they made him a guard, when he was like,
Jeffrey Thorne brought that up.
Yeah, Mosaic, and I was like, what they do to black characters is they kill them or they overpower them out of like, well, he's so powerful he can't be in the normal. But so it's just like basically another way of just ignoring them and shit.
So I'm going to be very careful about how I say this because I want to make sure I protect the brother. As Damon Watson personally understood Jeffrey Thorne's statement, which may not have been the proper understanding of what Jeffrey Thorne said. Did that come out right? Everybody understood what I said? Okay. All right. So Jeff said that, as I understood it, that the guy that wrote, and I still had some research to do because I didn't know this was going to come up in conversation. But the guy who wrote Mosaic may be in jail for
that is correct.
For things that are not great.
Gerard Jones did that.
And I'm just going to leave it at that. For things that are not great. And DC may not want to collect his work because they would then have to give him royalties or pay him.
And is that a brother?
Say again?
He's not a brother, but he wrote
Jeffrey Thorne is. The other guy is not.
The guy's name
what's he in jail for?
Pedophilia, something like that.
I'm going to stop with.
While we on it, we got to talk about Neil Gaiman, man.
Well, I never.
Okay.
Yesterday, I didn't know about Neil Gaiman.
I can't put Neil Gaiman in the same situation because Neil Gaiman was dealing with an adult woman apparently, according to what I heard on YouTube. Okay, is that specific enough? According to what I heard on YouTube, with all the credibility that should be afforded to things that are said on the internet. Be good? All right, cool. The person who he's dealing with. Oh, wait, let me stop. Go ahead.
Let me say this. Gerard Jones is out of jail now, too. I just looked it up.
He's out of jail. Good.
He got out.
But DC may not want to give him royalties because of the thing for which he was in jail for, allegedly.
And DC
don't want to say allegedly because I don't know. I'm just going to leave it at that.
They don't want to give royalties to the people they legitimately owe royalties. So yeah, that ain't.
Well, because of the nature of the guy's situation, for the reason for which he went to jail, they may not want to send money his way. So Mosaic may not get the same reference that it would have had.
They don't want
if
to
he
pay them.
did not go to
Period.
jail.
It doesn't matter. They don't want to pay
Yeah.
Schuster. They don't want to pay the people who created Superman. So I'm not. That's no like good look on DC.
That's the truth too. That is the truth too. And I will stop. I'm trying to make sure I protect everybody. I don't want to damage anybody's reputation, and I
No,
want
you
to make sure
good.
that
You good. You good,
cool.
bro. But I'm saying like the company doesn't matter, man. The company has its own interests involved. They're not worried about,
Basically,
oh, he did
they're
this.
gonna look for
So,
any reason to say no. We don't
no,
want to pay you
but
because they
no,
want
but
to pay people that
yeah,
don't have
but they're not.
problems.
They're like, oh, because he did this, we don't want to pay him. They want to pay him. Period.
Uh huh.
That's them. That's always been their deal, man. The people who created Superman, their
Hence the
families shouldn't have
creation
to
of
work.
image because people got tired of that shit.
Their people shouldn't have to work ever again, man. And they fought them mugs to the wire over.
I mean,
Even if they gave them
Schuster and
a
Simon
cent,
been dead. They family still fight. They grandkids
yeah.
still fight for that
Even
nigga.
if they gave them, say, hey, man, we'll give you 2 cents off every property. It'd be enough for them to be set for life for generations. They're like, nah, fuck that. So I mean, that's just what it is. But let me do this. Let me segue back to my Osborne point because I didn't want to let that go.
All right,
I'm
I,
tired
Okay.
of it.
I want to talk about
I'm,
this Neil Gaiman thing too before we finish up.
yeah, no, I'm tired of Osborne. I mean, I know he's the head villain. With the Spider-Man, the whole Osborne taking over Spider-Man shit, that was just like real cliche to me. I was like, and also it's a thing where Osborne was mentally ill. So now you're making it a thing where either mental illness can be transferred or mental illness is evil and it can be transferred. And I thought that was just a bad road to take.
When did this happen? Wait a minute.
This is the whole thing with the spear that took Osborne's illness. It's happening currently in Amazing Spider-Man.
Which is why I've stopped reading Amazing Spider-Man. It's talking about the Sin Eater. You know,
Yep, yep,
okay, yeah. I saw it and I was like,
yep.
this is not for me. And I just kind of stopped reading.
I was like, this is dumb. I was like, this is dumb.
Because now Osborn became the Gold Goblin for a while, but now that mental illness don't kick back in.
Now he's all good and all like that. So it's like, it not only is it's really tone deaf. It's really tone deaf. And I'll say a lot about comics. Comics has been tone deaf before on a lot of issues, man. This hadn't been one of them. I was like, how did this get past editing? How did it get past editing? Because they should have been like, no, you can't transfer mental illness out of a person with a spear. You know, it can't. We won't let it run.
Well,
So that was my point on that I wanted to make.
Amazing Spider-Man has not had the best success recently. Personally, I think Corey Ziegler is probably the best ongoing Spider-Man writer with his Miles Morales
Toby
Spider-Man right now.
Ziegler.
Cody Ziegler. That's who writes the book.
I'm sorry, I heard Toby Ziegler. I thought about West Wing. Go ahead.
Yeah, Cody Cody Ziegler.
Cody, got it.
Dude,
All
that
right.
West Wing was my boy though, man.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, Hickman is writing Ultimate Spider-Man, which is good. The new Ultimate Spider-Man is good.
Well, it's like expectations with Amazing Spider-Man. You know, spectacular and amazing. I want to see old school villains.
Bruh,
Maybe
Hickman was Spectacular Spider-Man for about feel like 5-10 years at
well,
least.
I'm just saying, man. Like the Spider-Man book, they were trying to do something new, and this whole him possessed by the Goblin. I was like, man, this is just dumb. The story before was kind of good. I was like, this ain't it.
I mean, but you take me back, man, because it used to be Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, and Web of Spider-Man. And those were your core Spider-Man titles, and they added Spider-Man.
Yep.
That was a different era of comic books.
Well,
right
like one of my favorite was Tangle Web, man. Tangle Web dealt with it from the villain's perspective. It was just like Shadow of the Bat. It was a book that dealt with it specifically from the villain's perspective. And my favorite Tangle Web was, man, when all the villains went to the bar playing cards and drinking and shit, and they were all talking about their interactions with him. And it was one dude you couldn't see. He had a hat on and it covered his face in shadow. He's like, you don't act like that with me. And they were like, what? Nah, he don't do anything like that. Me, don't joke with me. He'll do anything. They're like, what'd you do? He was like, man, I broke his girlfriend's neck and left her for him. And then when he flew off, you saw it was a goblin, man.
And like I said, Green Goblin's the one that get on his skin, man. And like I said, Bendis captured it very well in Ultimate Spider-Man. That boy was scared of Green Goblin. He was throwing up like this man's gonna kill him.
Which is why in Amazing it was so dumb that they had him like be so accepting of Norman Osborn.
But the last issue I saw, he was like, Norman, I always knew he was gonna turn on me. That's why I always had a backup plan for you. And I forgot what happened after that.
I'm just kind of luring you in. But it should be like, no, I'm just not fucking with you, period, dude.
I'm not messing with you. Don't come around me. Don't call me. Don't talk to me. You see me right the opposite direction.
If you see me walk across the motherfucking street.
I'm gonna tell you what that reminds me of, and this is a good segue right here before we get Neil game, is the Boys comic book. Homelander and Butcher. And that one scene, my favorite scene in the Boys comic book, when he was like, if you touch that dog,
it starts right now.
Right here, right now. We
now. Who, Homelander said that?
No,
Butcher said that.
Butcher said that sounds more like Butcher. All right.
And well, that's when you realized that Homelander was afraid of him.
Yeah, Homelander's like, you really gonna do this? He's like, yes.
He's like, I'll jump it off right now.
I don't care if we lose or not, but you're gonna feel these hands on you if you touch that dog.
And it's just whatever dirty trick he had, he's like, and Homelander left. They couldn't do how it worked out in the book, man. They couldn't do it. They get close to it, but they don't.
But people look down on the book now. Oh, the book is. I'm like, man, the book was a product of its time, and it was good at its time. Now, some things from the book are problematic and do not translate over, and that's a problem.
No, man. First of all, people bitch because they bitch, and that's just how that goes. You remember that thing you sent me about the little Christian women? And I'm not throwing shade on Christian because I grew up in a Christian church too.
Complaining about Deadpool.
Throwing shade on Deadpool, like this is what the Deadpool we know.
I don't know,
like,
man.
Deadpool and Wolverine offended your Christian values that Deadpool 1 and 2 did not, bother you with.
Dang,
and these women just went off. Man.
Lots of
people bitch because they bitch.
And the Boys was rampant with the rape shit. Like rampant with it.
I mean, the first issue of the Boys, they sodomized because in the show it's just
Starlight got raped in the first issue, man.
Oh, that's true.
It wasn't going on TV. Yep. It was not going on TV. And then they showed the prostitutes that they were dealing with, and they were like, "Well, they're superhuman." They were dying and bleeding out there.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, the Boys, man. The Boys was like that was Garth Ennis at his Garth Ennis at his very.
I completely forgot, but you're right. In that first issue, they showed they had all the whores and stuff like that, and they had the whores like snorting up B so they could have sex with the superheroes and try and survive that stuff.
Yeah, man. So it was bad. It was bad.
Oh boy. But we transitioned from Garth Ennis to Warren.
In fact, you know what? Here's the story. I was in the comic book store yesterday. I went to get my books. And this chick was in there, black girl. She was asking the dude behind the counter, black dude, and he was like, in First Day Comics, about Cross. And he was like, look, if that's your thing, that's your thing. It's not for me. He was like, it doesn't really have a story. It doesn't even center on one group of survivors. He was just like, it's just excessive violence and rape. He was like, lots of rape. And he was like, if that's your shit, sure, buy it. It ain't mine. And he was like, no judge. He said it like no judge. He's like, but it ain't mine. He's like, it's Garth, and he said it's Garth Ennis at his very Garth Ennis. He said that. They gave this dude a revolver and let him run loose in the playground.
So yeah. So for those of y'all who don't know, who may watch this later on, so Cross is like by Dynamite or Avatar books. And basically it's a post-apocalyptic world with some kind of virus or infection basically makes everybody go crazy. It makes them indulge in their most violent and sadistic impulses. And basically, Marcus is right. It's basically people going around trying to survive, getting skinned alive or killed in a horrible way or getting cannibalized or getting raped or
Remember No Hero?
there is no hero. You're just trying to survive. There is no hero. You're just trying to survive.
No. Do you remember the book No Hero?
No Hero by Warren Ellis.
What's that? I thought that was Garth, man.
No Hero is Warren Ellis.
That's bad. That was bad. That was bad.
Yeah, man. And I know that because Warren Ellis is to me with Grant Morrison is the king.
Look, I like Warren Ellis, man. Warren Ellis, global frequency #1, man. Warren Ellis, man. But I mean, I don't know.
Greatest story ever told. One of the greatest.
I mean, and Warren Ellis, after what he did, in which they argued about, well, Warren Ellis is the same boat as
Neil Gaiman, only less.
Like, no, Warren Ellis basically used his power as a writer to get.
Look, man. Writers have groupies just like so. First of all, let me say this: any woman that was sexually assaulted against her will, I am not at all justifying it or giving it license. I'm not saying that. What I am going to say is this. A lot of these women approach these dudes like groupies. Comic book writers have groupies. And I don't know if the relationship becomes transactional and it's the thing that they don't get what the reward that they want. And then it's sour grapes. So for any woman that's been straight up physically assaulted, then that's that.
True.
That's hands down. But if you're involved with a dude and he don't expand in some of these situations like that, he don't expand your career like you wanted it to, because you approached him at the con in a miniskirt and fishnets. And then shit, man.
And Warren Ellis did put certain people on. I know Kieran Gillen says he was put on by Warren Ellis. And Kieran Gillen has that Warren Ellis with the Wicked and Divine and this new book he got coming out and Die. I feel very much like this is some Warren Ellis influence stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to victim shame nothing like that. But that's just I think some women definitely have genuine complaints. And some are backstage, underage, adolescent,
Right, and to be fair, it is some creepy comic book creators who prey on underage women. I think that happened recently somewhere.
It's definitely a bunch of that, man. It's definitely a bunch of that. So I'm not saying, man, and Neil Gaiman is whatever like that. But if he did it, man. Like I said, chicken comes home to roost.
I think women say that Neil Gaiman has been sexually inappropriate. We'll say that because I got to read.
I'm still not even clear on what Neil Gaiman did, other than
let's put it in this perspective. Louis C.K.
He said some weird shit to a chick,
it's more than saying weird stuff. This one chick says that Neil Gaiman basically let her live in the house so long as she kept banging him, and when she kind of like, "I'm not banging you no more," he's like, "Well, you got to go."
You said no more.
No more. She's like,
as if she was doing it.
She said she was doing it. She said she was coerced into doing it. He basically like, look, either you gonna give it up or you gonna get out of this house. I ain't got nowhere to go. Well, that's a you problem. I gave you a solution. That's a you problem though.
Fucked up but transactional.
But he shouldn't have did it. And then of course another chick says that he kind of approached her when he's 25, in his 20s. I ain't gonna say this exact age, and he basically was very physically aggressive trying to bit with her. And he said, hey, I just misread that situation when I was younger. I was attracted to it when I was younger and misread.
The crazy thing is, man, I thought Neil Gaiman was gay, man.
You know what? I know why you thought that, because of Barb and all that stuff. But nah.
You couldn't have told me that
they got sued and lost their lawsuit. And
but if he did it and that's what's up, man, then he got to get what is come up with, man. I mean, that's just what it is. First of all,
so did anybody else hear about the lawsuit? Something like that, anything that allows me to shift this conversation, this recorded conversation.
But we talking about Neil Gaiman, man. Hold up, man. We'll get to you.
Okay, y'all go ahead.
Let us deal with Neil for a second, brother.
Okay, y'all handle that.
So like reading, and his work that what it reminds me of. So I don't know if y'all ever watched Girls. I did.
I
And
watched Girls the first season up until the episode where Donald Glover was on there, and I was like, I'm done with this.
yeah. But they had an episode where they were dealing with a dude who was a writer, and he was like bringing women in and like doing his old sexual assault shit. And so she went in there to interview him, and like the episode, he was just like, she went in there from a perspective of like, well, that happened to them, it can't happen to me. And he started complimenting her and complimenting her work and stuff like that. And then somehow he was like, man, I got to go lay down. She went in there, and then she looked over and he had his dick out. And the smile he gave her was like fucked up, and she ran out of there. But it was like he was on. So I'm trying to show you, you just like them.
Right.
But really, that motherfucker should have went to jail. Like, do not pass go. But how does he go to jail when she walked in his house and walked in his bedroom?
Yeah, I think I
It's
did see that.
no,
So he
it's
manipulated
no
her.
nuance in that situation for a woman. And so that's the thing that's fucked up. I got a mom, I got a sisters, I got mom, I got a sister, I got a woman, I got all that, and I understand how nuance plays into that shit. And like, and games that motherfuckers play, the games that we as men play sometimes. So, man, I
And I,
just did it.
and it's weird because the creator of Girls, I forgot her name right now. She come. I've heard a lot of people refer to her as fearless because basically she was not conventionally attractive, but she was always
She's
naked,
not
always.
fearless. She had a play into HBO. She just, I mean, her creativity. I won't doubt that she made a good show, but it was also problematic too.
And they said, well, she's fearless. And I'm like, and the people are like, well, the only reason she gets his attention is because she's unconventionally attractive.
Because remember, she did that shit with Josh Norman.
What? I don't remember
No,
this.
no,
What
no. It
movie?
wasn't Josh
It was,
Norman.
it
It
was
was
Odell Beckham.
who was the receiver for? It was yeah. What's his name?
Wasn't it Odell Beckham?
Odell Beckham.
And she was like,
What?
well, you should want me. He was like, why should I want you?
Well, she wrote a piece like where he was looking at me like he wanted to fuck me, like I could fuck it. Well, 'cause she felt intimidated by being with him because he wasn't paying her attention. And he sat next to her at the Met Gala. So she wrote this whole thing. Everybody's like, why the fuck would you do that? Dude just wasn't interested in
Yeah,
your fat ass.
exactly. And like I said, she tried to make him seem like bad because like he was like, but you not my type. He was like, you not my type. So that's why I didn't try to
He
sleep
didn't
with
even say that. He just didn't speak to her. He said hello and never spoke to her
you. Yeah.
again. And she went and wrote a piece about it. But you
Yep.
know what? I'm gonna say this. And I'm gonna get there for this one. This little raw. We might have to edit out.
Ain't no edit. All right, go ahead.
Bitch, you know how you look. You know who you was sitting next to. Stop playing. Stop playing. So the only reason that she thought that he should have been on her wasn't because how she looked, because she's not a pretty girl like that.
Like I said, I don't know if I said she's
She
unconventionally
could have
attractive.
been sitting next to Channing Tatum, and she wouldn't have had a problem.
Well,
She would have been cool because she knows she's not Channing Tatum's type.
and this happened in 2016.
I don't
And her,
know what we're talking about now. Or like what person we're talking.
we talking about Girls creator Lena Dunham and
Lena Dunham, yep.
Odell Beckham.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
Odell was like, "Nah, you ain't my
But
type."
yeah,
she sat next to dude, didn't know who he was, and was like, why is he paying attention to me? It's bitch, you don't have to.
yeah. I
That's
mean,
it. Accept it. Couldn't
I
accept it,
remember
but she
hearing
had
a
to
little
write a
bit
piece
about that.
about it. She had to write a piece about it though. That's the thing. It's one thing to go home like, all right, man, maybe look at yourself in the mirror and be like, all right, that's whatever. It's nothing to go home and write a whole goddamn piece about it. Put a motherfucker's name out there in the street.
and I feel like her career, there was a lot of backlash, and her career hadn't been the same since then.
No, it hasn't, because that was bullshit.
you know.
So
But
she did the same thing that done like when they wrote when the superbly well written episode when she was in with Donald Glover. And he's like, they warned me about fucking with white girls. The first thing y'all want to do when we get together is take a walk through the bad side of town.
I remember the episode, and Donald Glover was good in the episode, but I was like,
Yeah.
this show is not.
But that's basically the same shit, man.
Mhm.
Her expectations of the black person, and when they're not met. And Donald Glover left her the fuck alone in that episode
He
too.
did, as he rightfully should have.
So she did the same shit. So I mean, that's just what it is.
It was very interesting to say the least.
Motherfucker, you ain't even fine.
Well, like I said, we're gonna say unconventionally attractive. That's what we're gonna say. Wait, what you gotta say, Kev? I saw you. Hold on. Let me get you. Hold up. Try it again now, Kev.
No, I'm saying I said he had to get that in. Motherfucker, you ain't even fine. That's it. Well, that's it.
We all said that to the chicken. He said we all. You ain't even that fine.
Yeah, why the fuck would I?
You ain't surprised.
All right. Well, we at the 145 mark. So these last 15 minutes, let me ask y'all this: what are y'all looking forward to? Comics, movies, TV show wise next week.
Well, House of the Dragon, man. We're gonna see how. Well, I know how it ends. I went ahead and read the book 2 weeks ago. Spoiler alert: nobody wins, man. Team Black, Team Green. None of them motherfuckers win.
I told you that. Y'all, for y'all who don't know me, you'll see this later. I'm not the biggest fantasy person. Marcus definitely know this. He know this.
Yeah.
He rolling eyes, but you know. So I watched the first season of House of the Dragon. I'm not that interested in the second season, so I'm just gonna wait till y'all finish then watch it one by one.
Nah, they started like in the middle of the book that it's based off of. They could have went back to
That's a fact.
the other
That's
king
a fact.
and shit like that.
Fire and Blood. Fire, because I got that book and I go through it periodically. Fire and Blood deals with the beginning of the Targaryen conquest because the Targaryens weren't even the most powerful family in old Valyria. But what happened was they had a relative, one of the
the
female
Targaryen
relatives.
conquest began with your Harris, man.
No,
Fire
I'm
and
not
Blood.
talking about that. I'm not getting there yet. I'm not there yet.
No,
I'm talking about
but no, the
Valyria.
conquest, the Aegon the Conqueror was
I'm not talking about. I'm before that. I'm before that.
Fire and Blood is after that.
Fire. Wait. Let me get there. Let me make my point, and then you can get
my
there.
My bad. I apologize.
Like fantasy right here. But go ahead.
All right. So what happened was I forget her name, starts with a D, but she's known as the Dreamer. She figured out that Valyria was going to be destroyed somehow in some kind of cataclysmic event. The Targaryens, although they were not the most powerful family, they're I think the only ones to be like, yo, let's GTFO. And they did. And so they got out, they got their dragons, got the hell on. Valyria collapsed, and they were the survivors. So now you have a family. It's like the Targaryens are like the silver medalists at the Olympics running a track race against average people. And all of Westeros is average people. So they weren't the most powerful. They were not the gold medalists. You are not seeing the gold medalists of old Valyria. You are just seeing the survivors, the only family, I think, outside of Sea Snake's family, but they're the only real dragon riders outside of Sea Snake's family that they got the dragons. So they lived. And what you're seeing, the book picks up with the three, Aegon and his two sister wives, who had the book went and conquered the seven kingdoms. The movie picks up with their descendants after they've already conquered. Okay, so I will stop talking at this point. Marcus, you go ahead and start up.
He's right on that. You know, he's not wrong. I mean, we were saying the same thing. But yeah,
We
man,
are. You just need to let me finish.
Brother, I let you finish, man.
You did. I'm
Oh wait,
teasing.
this is
Go
why
ahead.
I'm like this.
You want to get some more licks in, man? I'll wait.
Wait, this is what I'm gonna say. I do like. I am looking forward to Rings of Power. So what I may do that House of Dragons.
Rings of Power is not Game of Thrones.
Is that
Not even saying
Silmarillion or
Rings of
something like
Power
that?
is Lord of Rings, man.
I get that, but I'm saying I like Rings of Power better than I like House of Dragons.
You don't like fantasy, period.
Which is true.
Nigga.
Which is true.
Nigga, and I'm calling you nigga on this one because that's just some nigga shit. You talk about on the fantasy shit. You have to edit it for your white audience because that's what it is, man.
Kevin laughing. I'll tell you, Mark is trying to make me read. What was he trying to make me read?
Thor, dude, it was the best run on Thor. That and Elric of Manibane, man. And this dude came up.
I would not read it.
Wouldn't, man. Refuse.
I refuse.
You won't read any Elric, man. You missing out, bro. Eternal Champion.
It was like a motherfucking having HIV and refusing the cure. And I just had to give up.
None for me.
Give up.
Man.
Like, man, I'm done.
Listen, the Eternal Champion, anything by Michael Moorcock is phenomenal stuff. I'm trying to tell you.
I believe
Elric, Jerry Cornelius, Coram Oroxe, all that stuff. That's good stuff. Read it. Read it.
Kevin,
if you like fantasy.
Kevin, I told him the exact same shit. I told him
he don't care. He don't care.
The motherfucker looked me dead in the eye.
Dead. I looked you dead in the
and
eye.
said no.
I said no. I refuse.
I said hell no. Nah.
Wow.
Marcus let the book sit on my coffee table for like a year. And come, you know, he'd be at my house all the time. Like, you ain't gonna read this book this week.
My own copy, man. He wouldn't do it.
He wouldn't read it.
Wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it.
Wow.
Wouldn't do it. So, man,
I was like,
whenever you mention fantasy stuff, I just be like, all right, motherfucker, all right, whatever.
But I was like that to an extent with anime too, because remember the only anime I watched consisted of Dragon Ball Z.
You was like, I don't like fantasy. You was like, I like swords. I was like, so in case, so I was like, just to be certain, if there's lasers in it, you'll read it. And you was like, yeah. Like that ignorant. He said it like that. That ignorant. Like, yeah.
I did this, y'all. I did all of it.
With a straight face.
With a straight face. So I'm going to watch House of Dragons season 2. I'm gonna watch it one episode a week when Rings.
Why you gonna not? You can't start with season 2, man.
I've already watched season 1. I watched season 1.
All right.
You did watch season 1, right?
Yeah,
is that what
this show is terrible. I mean, not terribly written, but I'm like,
and you know what? This
so look, what they're trying to do in House of Dragons.
Gonna see one goblet or a goddamn handheld torch and quit.
So House of Dragons, let me tell you what that is. There is the book Fire and Blood. There's the book Fire and Blood, which gives you more Targaryen history, much more Targaryen history. But the show House of Dragons is focused on a single civil war. Out of the whole lore of the Targaryens, it's picking up on the one thing.
I'll say this: why don't they talk about Jaehaerys' brother?
The heritage of who?
Jaehaerys' brother, the worst Targaryen before Aerys.
Look, what's his Megan? Not Megan. You know what I'm talking about. That brother did not get talked about. And he was very violent, very crazy.
That's the dude they need to go. That's the dude who probably started the whole Targaryens are crazy type shit.
He was the one, yes.
I mean,
I just want to say Magor is so bad. I could be wrong, but we don't go with that for now.
Magor. I don't know, but for real, I don't know, Marco. If someone abused you with medieval weaponry, you know, amazing. You know, a double-sided body axe or something like that. But whenever this brother sees, like, oh, it's fantasy,
Ew.
It's not
See,
science.
You
It's
gotta
see.
a
realize
Let me
mechanic.
let me
I
say
like
this.
Conan.
He ain't with it,
Let me
man.
say this.
I like
I
Conan. I
do
like
not.
Thor.
I do not fuck with Doctor Who at all because when they start talking about the Daleks and the little cyber people, Cybertron people, not Cybertron. That's
The Cyberman.
cyber people. When they looked at them, R2, a slow R2, and a semi-violent
You're right.
silver C3PO, and
I'm
they
very
like,
fucking
yo, these are some real threats. I'm like, y'all lost me. I don't know how that's a threat when all you gotta do is step three
You're
steps
right.
to the left and you can evade this dude over here that's called a threat. That being said, a dragon from House of Dragons is not a thing where you can go three steps to the left and you have just evaded the problem. So how you can look at Doctor Who and be entertained and
hey.
House of Dragons, you be like, nah,
My
that's not
my
for me. I don't get it.
And the Doctor
my
Who is on
my
House of
my my,
Dragon. You gotta
my
realize that,
only
right?
issue
You realize that Matt
with
Smith is the uncle that married his niece and had the kids.
my only
So what?
issue with House of Dragons is I think the dragons should be shown to be
And
way
I'm
more
not the
intelligent
irony of what I said is not lost on me considering Damon Targaryen.
and should
So
have an agenda of their own. That's my thing with the dragons and House of Dragons. Like I'm a dragon, and I'm not compelled to let you ride me. Either I like you or I don't.
Mm.
Or
that's true.
motherfucker, I may not like you.
That's true.
The next day. So that's my thing with that.
And they showed that. They
Speaking of which,
showed that because even in the book they said,
Are any of y'all watching the Dragon King on Netflix? That shit's dope.
The what on
I'm not.
Netflix?
Oh
What's it
my
called?
God, watch the
What's it
Dragon
called?
King, man. Watch it, watch it. Six
But I
seasons
kind of
in.
want to get back to the point that you made earlier that I do like. The dragons, they are not simply just slaves. They are and they are not big ass violent pets. It's not like you're looking at some violent Doberman that only like you. That's not exactly what they are.
That's
They
that's
make
how they
choices.
acting though.
That's how people trying to act. But see, when they try to get with these dragon seeds, and that was in the book too, they're like, okay, we're gonna see which dragon seed can ride with them. The dragons make a choice. They're like, if they don't like you, they will eat you. So when
But they
the
only make a choice in their rider.
they will burn
Uh,
you or they will eat you.
you
So
don't think
those are your
that things?
options.
I'm saying what you don't think that things that have an expanded lifetime and maybe since things like a little bit different than humans may have an agenda.
I think they don't talk though. That's the problem.
They don't have to
I
talk.
think that they
You can show.
semi-sentient.
You
They
can
are
show that they're.
semi-sentient. We see that. They're
I
not.
think. I think that guy. I think.
They are less than
George.
human and more
I,
than German shepherds.
I think George Martin wrote too much story and he didn't want to incorporate that into it. But it makes sense that they would be sentient.
Well, there's a lot that has not been developed that I would like to see, such as where they talk. There's a place. Westeros is one continent. Essos is another continent. We saw that one. That's where we see Daenerys trying to make her come up and did make her come up. Sothorios is down south. That is effectively Africa when as white people did not understand
You
the
talk about
continent of Africa.
the summer eye.
No Sothorios.
No, black people are in the summer isles.
I'm not gonna say no on that. I am gonna say Sothorios is his own continent.
I never heard it. Now I done read all the books except for the Hedge Knight. I've never heard of Sothorios. I've heard of the Summer Isle, and
Go
that's where
for it.
black folks are.
I did not
But
make that
Every Game of Thrones discussion like ends up like this. That's why I don't mess with it.
SOTHOR. So
Everyone.
Thor
Everyone.
YO something like
I'll
that. But
check it out.
anyway,
I'll check it out, brother. I could be wrong, man.
yeah, yeah.
Every
I've
Game of
been
Thrones
wrong
discussion I
before.
log in ends up like this. And people like, sorry, the books, which is
Hmm.
why I figured out I don't have to watch the show at all. I just let them talk and I don't know everything that happened.
But
Figure it
the
out.
best
The
thing
other
in
thing
Fire and
about
Blood,
House of Dragons versus
Damon,
Fire and
the
Blood,
no, the best thing in Fire and Blood was why they have the relationship with Dorne. and how they could not conquer Dorne.
That's true. It
And
is
why
not
the
a conquered kingdom.
Dorne, there's a whole show
Dorne has
on that.
never been conquered.
There's a whole show on that.
It
They
does deserve a show. Dorne never got conquered. That is just a when they talk about the 7 kingdoms that includes Dorne, it's a bit generous because Dorne never submitted. The Dornish people, their thing is we are bent but never broken at best.
Yep.
And so what you can do, because as the Targaryens went through all, and Dorne is basically Spain. If you want to say what are the real life equivalents, Spain. Dorne is basically Spain. So
Why do you think that Dorne is Spain?
I have to get into that. That's a whole different conversation.
I think
But
Dorne. I think Dorne is the Middle East, the Arab Peninsula.
Dorne is
That's how they
Spain.
look.
I would also say that when they talk about the Iron Price, the islands. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to say it.
But the Iron
Islands,
Bank,
they're Vikings. They're Vikings.
They're Vikings. Yeah, they are.
They are Vikings.
With the Iron Bank, I think that's Italy.
I won't deny that. The North, when they talk about the wall and the Starks, that's Scotland, because that wall is Hadrian's wall. When they talk about King's Landing, that's London, England.
Yeah, the shit is based off the War of the Roses. So yeah,
It is. It absolutely is. So with that being said, Dorne, that was the one kingdom that was never conquered. Now, it was a possibility to marry somebody from Dorne, but the thing about the Dornish people, they said, you can burn us, you can kill us, you can do all the rest of it, but you will never break us. And the Targaryens looked at that and said, well, that's it. We really can't fuck with them. They really won't stop. There's nothing. That's the thing that I like about the Dornish people. It's not that they're saying that they won't lose. They accept the fact that it's a potential that they'll lose. They're just saying, we don't quit and we won't be conquered. You can win, but what would you actually win? Because
in
none
war,
of us will
they
submit
would
to you.
send all their men away, but the men were hiding because they would engage in guerrilla warfare and magic.
We don't.
So when you see the dude in what's it, Pedro Pascal's character, that's a Dornish dude. He's Dornish.
I gotta get y'all out of this now because y'all don't went into a circle drain on Game of Thrones, which happens every time.
Yeah, man.
So we had the 2 hour mark right now. We're actually a little bit over 2 hours. So
damn it.
So final thoughts as we get ready to close it out, because that leaves us with So who want to start off with final thoughts as we get out?
Let me just quiet it out, because let them breathe for a second so they can collect themselves. I just want to say this is a good time to be a blerd, a geek, whatever you call yourself, because the quality of the different types of stories that are coming out is entertaining, even if everything isn't great. Like, even if you don't like Deadpool or Wolverine, it's a hell of a thing to see all these characters on TV, in the movies. It's the same with Scarlet Witch and Vision, seeing all those stories that I saw as a child come to fruition, the Avengers, all that crap. It's a good time to be a geek. It's a good time to see the quality of some of these stories come out, whether cartoon or movie. So it's entertaining, and hope this shit gets better and better and just continues. And we'll see some different stories. And maybe even the Elementals. Listen, look, I'll throw you in there. Maybe even the Elementals could be a TV show. You know what I'm saying? Or a series. Am I wrong?
You are not.
So that's what makes me hopeful. The potential to see so many different ideas come out and come to fruition, and you don't see them on paper or just read about it anymore. You can see it in action. And sometimes it's really good. And that's what I'm happy about.
That's good. As usual, Professor Kev is well put. So, all right, who want to go next? Damon, Marcus,
I'll go, man.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Dan, man.
I say this for me, because you didn't ask me about the comics, and I said that it's cool that you didn't, because I read the comics, but the problem that I have with comics now is I can't say they have any real impact. It don't mean anything anymore. Every time you read a story, they turn around and be like, "Oh, we got to reboot. Oh, we got to do an ultimate. Oh, we got to do an absolute. Oh, we're gonna change everything." They keep changing shit so much that anything you read is like it's barely above a one shot Elseworlds story, because they're just gonna turn around and change it no matter what it is you read anyway. I have been so excited, however, to see these movies, see these books, because to Kev's point, as a kid at Food World in Birmingham, Alabama on Green Springs, grandmama buying them comic books, and I saw that Infinity Gauntlet. I never in my life thought that I would see Infinity Gauntlet on the silver screen on my TV or anything. I never thought that I would ever see the X-Men on my screen. I never thought that that would be a DVD that I could buy, but here we are. Um, the movies under Kevin Feige, they focus more on continuity than the comic books do. So now it seems to me that what's on screen has more impact than what's in the books. But I continue to collect the books. Uh, I am happy to be a Blerd in this time. I've been a Blerd, been a Blerd since I was 11 years old. I'm 45 now, so I got time in this. I can talk as much shit as I want, and I'm just happy to be here. Happy to see all of this. Happy to see Deadpool and Wolverine. Happy to see anything else they want to show me, because anything they show me is a whole lot more than I expected to see back in 1991.
Well, all
That was
right.
it.
All right. All right, Marcus, what you got, man?
Oh man. All right, well, man. I guess in closing, I'd have to say this. Um, I guess with my years in this, man, I've become a bit jaundiced. 'Cause I kept seeing like a lot of cliche themes and stories like that. But first, let me say this: I'm a big believer in story. I'm a big believer in themes. Not just with the comics, but everything. I know I'm a big horror fan. I became one by reading horror stories, the short story medium in particular. So I love Twilight Zone, Tales from the Dark Side, and stuff like that. And those are some of the best things I've ever read in my life. So no matter what the medium to me, if the story is good, it will translate to be good. You know, Ray Bradbury's While the Whole Town is Sleeping is one of the best short stories I've ever read, period. Hands down. You know, check it out. As far as comics, I mean, I'm still excited about the medium. I get bored a bit because I've been in it for so long, and that's cool. But I'm still excited. I'm glad to see us come out and like do our stories and stuff like that and make our stories relevant. So I'm cool with that. What I'm watching, like I said, House of Dragons, uh, The Dragon King is definitely something to watch. And that's it, man. I'm still here. I'm in it for the
Where do we
long
see
run.
Dragon King?
Netflix, brother. Netflix.
Okay.
Netflix.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but for people watching this so they can catch it, I'm gonna stop talking.
You all right, brother. You all good, homie. We good. You know what I'm saying? So and that's what's up. Also, man, it's all I am really happy and overjoyed like to get to connect with you brothers in this way. And I'm really happy about that, man, because we don't talk all the time like that. And also, Kev, did you get what I sent you? And did you read Shiva Open Your Eye?
Oh, wait. Hang on a sec, Kev. Say it again, Kev.
No, I have not read it. I got it, but I haven't read it yet. I will check it out.
Read that first, brother. Because
Okay.
when I read that story, it reminded me of you.
Okay. I'm scared, but I don't know what that implies, but I'm gonna
Not
find
like
out.
that, but it just reminded me like when we had our thought, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, but just check it out, man. And if you got
Yeah.
thoughts, hit me, man. And that's
Okay.
all I got, man. I love
That's
y'all.
what's up.
Well, man, I don't have anything else to say. I enjoyed it, man, but I like doing this. I don't foresee any time I'm gonna stop doing this as reading comic books and stuff like that. That's just what I do now, man. Especially since essentially I'm trying to replace the stolen collection at this point, with a new collection. So that's what it's gonna be, man. But I love the content. I love the variety of experiences we got here because I we laugh, we joke, but I get some from each one of y'all when I talk to y'all. I get some, y'all always put me on something I did not know, and I just genuinely appreciate it, man. So I'm happy we finally got around to doing this. We've been talking about doing this for a while. So I'm happy we got a chance to do it, and I look forward to the next time we're gonna be able to do it as well, man. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and be out here, man.
Close us out, Reverend. Is that the benediction?
That's the benediction. Ain't no prayer.
All right.
But we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.